Is February 20th, 2025. So tired of this. Seriously. You know, these people are so absurd. Now, back before 2002, I told you how I had those surgeries. My muscles all locked up from having 6 to 10 surgeries on my stomach and back within 2.5 years. Like a nurse said, you had so much trauma to your stomach and back, that's why your muscles seized. Well, I went to a bunch of crackpots. They falsely diagnosed me, made me swell from my feet to my brain. My legs were popping out of place. Had to go to orthopedic doctors to have my knees drained. Turkey-based syringes of fluid being pulled out, and then steroids put in. Okay. The orthopedic doctor prescribed canes and braces because my knees would literally slide out of place and I'd fall. MRI report showing the swelling, even a fluid-filled cyst for me beside one of the knees. I had many heart attacks, brain swelling. They lied I had level 2 brain tumors. My thyroid adrenal gland shut down. I was dying. When I walked in there, I was 105 pounds of miserable pain. Within 2 years, I'm 275. Okay? Okay? They told me I had MS, epilepsy, level 2 pituitary tumors. I needed brain surgery to remove it, and I would lose part of my memory. Before I let them do that to me, I go to my regular doctor. What do you think? She's like, whoa. So she literally went, whoa. Those doctors, we need to have a long talk what they're doing. Now, this is in the fall of 2002. It is documented at Altman Family Physicians that it was fraud. Everything they did was fraud. Okay? They wrote it up as fraud. These doctors are known for lying, falsely diagnosing people, ripping them off, making them sick, and wanting to do unnecessary procedures. You have the Golden Ticket Insurance Company. Pays for almost everything. Okay? They're using it like a checking account they can drain. Okay? And they're getting kickbacks from the drug companies. And she literally took her hand and acted like she was writing out a check. They're getting checks from $200 to $1,000 per false prescription. You may only pay a little bit up from your insurance company, but they're getting really big kickback checks. Now they're wanting to do unnecessary procedures. You're not the first one. You're not the only one. Okay? They've done this too. And you get an attorney and sue them in term of the state to pull their license. Okay? Every year. I went back in there. Are you going to sue them? They almost killed you. You know, there was nothing wrong with you, but your muscles locked up from those surgeries. They caused all that. That was fraud. They documented it was fraud. See, the other day I was in Maslin. Well, actually, Perry Township. I went to go on McDonald's. Some lady pulled up and said, I looked it up. Those doctors did document it as fraud. I know they did. They were defrauding me. Ripping off my insurance. Because you can't say somebody has epilepsy and they don't. You can't say they have MS and they don't. You can't say they have level 2 brain tumors and there's no evidence of it. My God, they caused seizures, they caused heart attacks, they almost killed me. Okay? And for years, they kept encouraging Dave and I to sue them. Okay? It's fraud. They're ripping me off. Do I claim fraud? No. Because like they said, you do realize that there was nothing wrong with you. They all lied. Okay? Then on top of it, I told you I have a feeling my whole marriage was a scam. Now looking back, where my ex-sister-in-law had told me after we got married, I'm so glad you married him, he finally settled down. He would spend the night here And when I get home, he'd have strange women in the basement having sex with him. Bring him in my home, strange women to have sex with him, all kinds of them. Okay? More likely, like my neighbor Jim said, I bet that lady that used your insurance is probably one of the girls from Barbara's Basement. I bet she didn't go away. See, he only made $80 a week back in 1984. He worked for John Calgill, part-time construction, made $80 a week. Tim, my brother-in-law, is going to work, bragging he's making $500 to $1,000 a week. That was a lot of money back then. A lot of money. You got to think you could buy a completely loaded car, $5,000 to $10,000. Really nice homes that you pay $200,000, you buy it for $35,000, $50,000. Now think of making $500 to $1,000 a week. It was super good money. Well, him asking me out, what would happen in time? My dad had given him a job. Within 9 months, 10 months, my dad gave him a job at that factory. Started the insurance right away. And guess what happened? Started getting medical bills that weren't mine. My brother had told me that there was rumors of a heavy-set, round, white woman showing up talking to Dave. I confronted him. He's like, Karen, they're just trying to break us up. I said, did Pete get me proof? Well, he had to work. And, back then, there wasn't even cell phones. You do realize that. There wasn't cell phones. There wasn't anything like that. You literally would have had to have a camera on you at all times. See, people forget how much technology has changed. I remember when we had a phone attached to a wall with a really long cord. I remember when the cordless phones first came out. I remember when cell phones came out. And then the cell phones with pictures and then videos. Yes, I'm old. Okay? Well, Dave kept saying that they were all lying, just trying to break us up. More than likely, him and her came up with a scam of him marrying me. So she could have insurance. He'd have all that money. And he didn't work all that overtime. And he could go spend time with her. I think that's where the lady with the 2 little girls using my insurance, even staying at Altman Hospital, arguing with them, want to talk about your stay. I said I haven't stayed in your hospital in years. You see, Dr. So-and-so. Never heard of him. I tell him about this lady using my insurance, running up tens of thousands of dollars of copays. Well, you said you have 2 little girls. I have 3 boys. I told you. It's really not funny. During the case, 2 girls showed up and said they were Dave's illegitimate daughters. That's really not funny. You know that, right? My mom knew of her. Pete knew of her. Every union rep. And Kay McMillan, the secretary of Midwest Rubber, told Dave there's no way they would have got the insurance information in mine unless he gave it to her. It is documented and verified by the police. It was a medication error that made me sick. That means medical malpractice, false diagnoses. They gave me the wrong meds. Almost killed me. Okay? And that it's also documented and verified by the police. Some other woman was using my insurance. Every union rep on the union committee knew of that lady too. Because there were so many doctor bills. It wasn't even funny. And then she got a hold of my prescription card. And I'm like, oh, come on, Dave. He said, Karen, all she has to do is call in with your social. I know, you didn't have to show ID back then. Do you remember all those cases of people letting people use their insurance? and they'd have surgeries, and a person would die, and then they'd find out that other person was letting them use insurance. Yeah. Over 15 years, from 1986 to 2003, half my medical bills are hers. She went Harry-Carry. Like I said, I think my whole marriage was a scam. So he could take care of her. Now, these people, the apostolic religions are so crazy. They think that they can say those doctors were actually in the cult's pocket. You know HIPAA violations, right? Your doctors can't talk about you. They can't testify against you in court. It's illegal. It's 1 to 5 years and a $250,000 fine. You're sued for $1.5 million. Until you die, they can't talk about you. Your medical records are sealed underneath the right to privacy. Okay? So, but they are telling people where those doctors almost killed me. The cult actually paid them to do it. Now they're even trying to say they paid a dirty doctor off to write up she was insane before. Okay, insanity and mental illness is not curable. Brain's damaged. It can't be fixed. Okay? It can't be fixed. They put them on medication trying to calm the symptoms. They have to have judge has to find you insane. Yeah, you'll have a right to competency hearing, your own attorney, your own doctors. Okay? And they have to find you insane. They have to get you a legal guardian, a social worker, and set up court-ordered disability, Social Security disability. Okay? And until then, you're not found insane. You just have, they're paying that they just paid somebody off to write up fraud. Yeah. They'd all go, like a lady investigator, they'd all go to jail for that one. Yeah. You can't just have somebody write up something dirty. You could destroy everybody you hated in life. Imagine that. You go around, hey, here's $20,000. Write up this on this person. Okay. That's how crazy they are. They think they can do something like that. Oh, and they think they can pay people off to release your medical information. That's a long time in federal prison. And then you're saying that they were actually hired hitmen to take a murder plot and try to kill me for the cult. That's a long time in federal. They need to watch what they're confessing. Like a lady investigator, they're all looking to go to jail. In October 23, like I said, I was in Menchie's in Canton on West Task. Some guy sitting over there talking to someone at a table. I overheard him. I found out there's another murder plot. They're going to try to fix it so she could never carry a gun again. Then they could have somebody show up and try to kill her. It's another murder plot. The Canton investigators that had worked my case had just left. Or right around that time, they had walked up, and I was sitting there laughing with the client and his family. And they said, it's so good to see Karen happy again. We all listened to how that guy talked to her. Karen didn't know anything what these people were doing. At least now we don't have to worry about her going back to Dave again. A lot of the investigators were scared I'd go back to him. Okay? At least we know Karen's out of it. And it's so good to see her happy again. And then that guy sitting there talking about that murder plot. You know, my whole life's been taped. They have them saying that. FBI informant. Who the hell does the apostolic churches, like some investigator that was here? He said, in my report, I'm going to write up how evil the apostolic churches in this area are. How evil they are. They are pure Satan. Who do they think they are? See, the investigators have even said, there is no way those doctors didn't know they weren't killing her. With everything swelling up and shutting down, there's no way they didn't know they weren't killing her. And it took another doctor to tell on them. And there's no way they didn't know what they were doing. And they even said they were wondering if the cult paid them off. Well, these people were saying they paid them off. It's like, do you realize what you're confessing to? Do you realize what you're confessing to? Premeditated attempted murder. And you hired hitmen to do it and paid doctors to do it. That's a long time in federal. See, you can't, what they're saying, they can't even say that it was an accident, it was negligence. They made a mistake and it was an innocent mistake. But it was pure out fraud and attempted murder. Now they're saying that they paid off more doctors. See, but then half my medical records are this lady's. And she went to doctors I've never even heard of. See what I mean? But these people don't know the law. They don't know you have to have a competency hearing. You just can't pay somebody off to write up fraud. That has to go through the courts. Otherwise, it's just somebody's personal opinion. See what I mean? Like an investigator said, or a guy said, one of the investigators that work in the case realized that church was setting her up the whole time, letting that lady use her insurance. They were planning out this the whole time. You know, I was talking to my boyfriend. I said, well, you know, I'm not the first person, now looking back at everything, that my ex-husband tried to have killed. He said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, I want you to think about this. What would happen to you if you threw a rock at an adult's head when you were like 10 to 12 years old and you hit him in the head? He said, my dad would have beat my butt. I said, my dad would have beat my butt so bad I still wouldn't be able to sit down. He said, you can't throw rocks at people, you can kill them. He said, I even knew that as a child. I said, exactly. When Dave was about 10 to 12 years old, he still laughs about it. He thinks it's funny, and it's not. His parents had a small little cabin, a little mobile home down on a river. They would water ski. Well, he didn't want to go out on the water ski, so his uncle was teasing him, calling him a chicken hawk. Instead of just getting mad, crying, walking off like a normal 10-year-old, right? He picked up a big rock, waited for him to come around, and winged it at his head as hard as he could. Hit him in the head. Knocked him head over feet, backwards. Ran and jumped in the car. In time he got himself out of that water, he wanted to whip him. And his grandparents that had adopted him went on to spank him, and they coddled him. He just tried to kill someone. You do realize that. He had no respect for life, even as a child. That's what a psychopath is. The psychopaths do not have fear, sympathy, empathy, or remorse of their actions. They only have happy, joy, excitement, and anger with no consequences. Think about that. That's where they say they're born serial killers. That's where he's always manipulated women. He would laugh after we got married that he was dating 17 women in high school at one time. I said, how on earth could you do that? He said, I had certain days and certain times I seen him. He said, I was dating all of them at once. He said they were all sitting around talking one day at school and found out they were all dating me, and they all broke up, and he laughed. that he manipulated 17 women. That's a psychopath. Just like him letting that other woman use my insurance, and then thinking he could have the drug cartel drug me for fake confessions, beat and rape me. He could human traffic me like I'm not human. Huh? Photoshop that washing scene. And if they did pay off those dirty doctors, they probably did, because it is documented fraud. Because, see, that's where Altman bought Family Physicians. You do realize it was fraud what those doctors did. You don't have anything wrong with you, but your muscles locked up. All those things they wrote up were fraud. They were causing everything that was wrong with you with the wrong meds. And encouraged Dave and I to sue him for 2 years. Maybe 3. Oh, I would have been a millionaire. I would have been a millionaire. Like they said, do you realize she would own those people? Oh, yeah. You know, today I went down with my boyfriend to his attorney, okay? We were sitting there, we were talking. She looked at me and said, you have such a calm demeanor. And she said, I work with abused women. She said, I can tell. The way you sit and you act. She said, you know not to speak loud. To think before you speak. And not to react fast. I said, look at her. I said, yeah, you could be. See, I even had an officer was watching me one day, and he looked over at another one, and he said, you can tell she's been raped. You can see it on her. Well, that's where the CIA agent, retired CIA agent I talked to, she said, you can tell you've been around the human traffickers. The way you stand, the way you talk, the way you present yourself when you talk about them. You scream. Almost like a mafia mama. You can tell you've been around the human traffickers. So FBI agent John, where they made Apostolic Lighthouse Tabernacle in Maslin, made a public fool out of you, along with the cartel June 7th, 23, that you would actually fall for their stunner tapes before, and called you a public fool. And sold videos of it to even children. I remember in 2018 the police coming up to me. That agent was so mean to you on the phone because he knew those people were defrauding him. And he wanted to make sure you weren't part of it. He knew everything was drugged and photoshopped, and he was going to go after him. Then later on they came up and told me he sacrificed you. He said it was his only way into the cartel. It wasn't part of the deal. See, that's where the Hartville police told people in Hartville not to say anything. This is just last year. That agent had told all the police he was only acting that way to get the drug dealers. They got all those drug dealers and he still didn't pay her. They all know he told on me. From where I called the hotline that he went around telling all the apostolic churches that I called the FBI. The cat was out of the bag. There was no secret. He told. It is documented and verified by the police. The agent that returned my phone call from the FBI hotline was the one telling on me to those churches before he spoke to me. October, November 22. On a Sunday. They showed up and announced it. Officer John was there. I seen him. And Officer John or Officer Mark are one of my guys from the case. There is a protected custody case with statements and a court order. You know that because you worked my case. September 23rd of 2018 to October 3rd of 2018 in the Stark County Courthouse for a protected custody case for an FBI informant with threat and attempt to life. There is money and immunity ordered by a Stark County judge, and it's for life for working this case. Will you go have a talk with one of those judges? How that agent told on me before he talked to me. He told all the churches he even knew I was being drug beat and raped, and he didn't care. And he had told the police he was only acting that way to get the drug dealers. How he confessed on a recorded line. He met with all of them. He made fun of me. He even made fun of me for the drug dealer, Pete, that Dave hired on his own, how he was running a scam on me and how I didn't know. He sounded like a crazy jackass. Trust me. You know, I almost said something to that agent on why are you lying on my brother. See, I didn't know about the drug dealer. Like the investigator said, case first started, we found out Karen's ex-husband was keeping her so drugged up there, they were drug beat and raping her. And she wasn't realizing what was happening. The fake drug confessions of photoshopping and washing. And let them know that judge know, because there's already a protected custody case. It's already in play with money and immunity, okay? In order for the police to watch me and protect me. That agent turned me back over to the drug cartel. He told on me for calling the FBI hotline before he talked to me. Confessed on a recorded line. Got him for tampering with a witness. Obstructing justice. And then embezzlement of government funds. And that he never paid me. And he even had the nerve to try to pull a fast one and saying that she couldn't say anything. He already told everyone. We all know the First Amendment, only a judge can put a gag order on somebody that he's already told. They'll reorder my money. Please. You're not just there to document for the FBI case. You're there if I need you, and I need you. Or whatever sheriff is watching me today. Oh, and by the way, will you go tell the U.S. Marshals where he even told you officers that he knew everything was drugged and photoshopped, that he flat out lied to him about the weird with yourself, that it was a shower scene and washing yourself in a shower, like January 5th, 25. What is this? Another FBI agent lied to the U.S. Marshals. She was weird with herself? We always knew. It was a Photoshop to washing yourself in the shower, and they had drugged her and told her to say it before. It's a drug scam from the drug dealers. Now this thing, what they're doing now, we all know they can't do anything with it. They're just going to all end up in jail because they're too stupid. But if you go get my money, and by the way, would you ask, I would like a new name, social card, info not bugged by craziness, life of peace. I've had people, even in Walmart and other places, admit to seeing me and my boyfriend in this apartment. He doesn't know, and I don't want to freak him out, but the cartel has this place hacked too. I mean, they've already raped, tortured me, crushed my head in. But if you remember their threats, they were going to come back and kill me eventually. Remember? For when they find you alone. That's the last threat. That's when you'll die. That's when they'll take care of you. And the threat of, they have a field picked out south of Ravenna to cut up my face and stab me to death. That's where you'll die. They play with me. Just like Remember the Truth, they'll try to implant lies, they'll try to steal everything you have in life. The extortion plan. January 19th. It was in 19 when they said that, January to March of 19 about the field where I die and when they find you alone. I do need a new name and a new social car and phone in a place for... I don't have to be moved out of this area, just not bugged by the mafia. In a nice name. But if you go talk to them, the protected custody case is already in fact. Just tell them how that agent embezzled all my money. Like the prosecutor's office, I had a criminal attorney and police I talked to. He doesn't have enough authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. It's not in the court order. He was only bullying you. But he already told on me, and he's seen by the police and confessed on recorded line. He can't tell on you, but you can tell however you want. Freedom of speech, First Amendment. What these people did is a fraud scheme. Where they laugh at you for putting a shower scene and washing yourself in the other room to make you look weird. They probably did. And their stalking tapes. And we had all the signs of being drugged, beaten, raped, seen by a doctor, and nobody thought of a rapist. They probably did drug you up and tell you to say something stupid because you've never seen or talked to anybody, and then they're laughing they did it. And you were seen for injuries. It's a big fraud scheme from the drug cartel. Now, Officer Marco John, or one of my guys, if you go, please tell the marshals that Agent John lied to you. Flat out lied. Okay? Because he even told you when the case first started, he knew everything was drugged and photoshopped. Okay? And he told you guys he was going after him. Okay? And if you go to a judge and tell him that agent embezzled my money, he's looking at life in federal. Please. That's what you're there for, is if I need something. And I need your help. Please. I don't have to be moved out of this area, just a little safer place. More secure. And I don't need to be Karen Hall again. I don't need to be associated to the apostolic churches and the wickedness and the evilness they did to me. Ever again. For life, for peace. Like the investigator said, we'll set it up that no one will ever touch her in her whole life after what those people did. And like Officer Mark told someone, we'll give Karen no wrongdoing in life because she wouldn't abuse it. I have one traffic ticket from 89. I'm really boring without these people. I miss boring. Boring is normal. I have learned to live my life in the middle of a storm of chaos. I'm gonna upload this. But Officer Marco John and one of my guys, we go to that one of the Stark County judges, just have the case there. Explain to him what's going on and how that agent stole my money. I ask him to reorder it. Oh, they'll order it big time, and they'll probably order Agent John to be arrested. Nobody needs a dirty federal police officer on the force. Stealing from victims. And telling on victims, calling for help, and then making a deal with the bad guys. Oh, in my case, as part of the nationwide human trafficking scam, the marshals have been using it, arresting thousands of drug cartel, and saving hundreds. It looks like the biggest fool on this earth, one of their mega cases, interfering in a federal investigation. I'm upload this. Please help me.